Often, you're going to want to be able to use something that's sent from another part of the program. That's called passing a value or passing arguments. So here we have name equals Charlie, greeting, and then we print name. Let's change this slightly. So we're going to have greeting and pass name. And then that'll go to greeting. And here we need to give it a local variable name. It's very common to use the same one. But here I'm going to make it slightly different. I'm going to name it first. Now you could have used the same variable name, but it wouldn't be the same variable. It would be a copy of the name one, and it's exactly what we saw in the last lecture where we had the file folders. There would be a name that was in scope in main, and then the copy of the name would be in scope in the greeting function. I like to have different names because I think it makes it more clear that this is a different and separate value. But you could use name, and it's still a different and separate value. So here, instead of name equaling Sally, we're going to have name equals first. And we'll show you a couple ways to simplify this. So let's step through the logic. We've called main, we're in main. We've assigned name to Charlie. We have called greeting, we're passing greeting name. So Charlie is stored in here, which is passed to here, which is now set to here. So now this name is a copy of this name. If we print name here, it will be Charlie. If we have name equals Steve, it won't do anything. I mean, we could print it here. We could print name or here again, and it would print Steve. But when we return to here, this is still going to print Charlie because nothing we do to the copy of what's sent changes the original variable. So there'd be a slightly cleaner way to do this, and you see it done both ways. So we can take that variable, that argument as it comes in, and we can set it to a new variable, but that's actually a step more than you need. So while I left it that way to sort of simplify the logic, the easiest thing to do here would be to use that passed argument as a variable directly, which we can do. So here I could accomplish the same thing simply by doing print first. And then it would print Charlie. You can also pass more than one variable. So we could have, and I'm going to make this a little clearer. I'm going to do F underscore name equals Charlie. I'm going to add a second variable, L underscore name equals Brown. And when I call greeting, I will now pass those two variables. So I will send it F underscore name, and I will also include with a comma L underscore name. And that will call greeting. But they need to match. The signature needs to match. So the signature is the name of the function plus the number of the arguments, parameters, variables, whatever you'd like to call them. So first and last. And it knows which value goes into which value here by the order that they're passed in. So if I were to print first, I could print first and I can print last, or I can do print first, comma, last. And that would print Charlie Brown. So that's how we would pass values. And remember, once you've passed it, anything changes we make when it's out of scope, this is a copy of that variable and does not affect the original. There is one more way we can control how we're passing that value. So we can set it here as passing it with a different order and telling it how it's going to be received by the variable declaration, the names that are in our greeting function. So if we wanted to specify and send them out of order, which again is unusual but allowed, we would pass it with knowing what it's getting passed into here. So here we're getting first and last. I could reverse the order and I could send it as greeting last equals L underscore name, comma, first equals F underscore name. And so it will match the names here, and last name will be stored in last, and first name will be stored in first. Typically in this class, you can do this, but I don't see it very often. We're normally just passing things in order because it seems to be a little bit simpler and more straightforward. So while this is allowed, at least in this class, not super common.